This Impact Wrestling review was brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Try it, and TNA will stop trying to make Madison Rain happen already. Okay, sorry I'm late with this one. I couldn't watch Impact when it aired on Wednesday. I had to pick up my dad at the airport that night, which kind of threw off my whole schedule. But I've seen the show now, and most of it was in line with what they've been delivering lately, meaning that there was some good wrestling, but there wasn't much to really buzz about ultimately. We had the semifinals of the tag team tournament this week. Not a whole lot going on here story-wise. Samoa Joe and Low Ki versus MVP and Kenny King, and the Hardys versus EC3 and Tyrus. One match was very good, and the other one had Tyrus in it. It was good when he wasn't tagged in. And what does it say about this guy that they're already jobbing him out after like 3 weeks? I don't care that it took both Hardys to put him away. You just took EC3's new quote-unquote monster bodyguard and cut his legs off before he even started walking. Now, if I cared about Tyrus, if I thought he was worth anything, I might be upset about that. But I don't, so I'm not too fussed about it. Though it does make me wonder why they even bothered with this guy in the first place if EC3 is getting pissed at him already. Not that I want Tyrus to stick around, I don't. But I am kind of wondering what the purpose of this is. Far more interesting than this tournament right now, in my opinion, is the angle of James Storm trying to recruit Davey Richards into his revolution. Now, granted, if you think about it for a minute, Storm's argument makes no sense whatsoever. The Wolves are on a huge high right now. They're the tag team champions, they just beat the Hardys and Team 3D in this awesome, very high-profile series. So Storm trying to make Davey believe that Eddie is holding him back is ludicrous. And last I heard, the Wolves were the top merch sellers on the roster, so I highly doubt they're breaking up anytime soon. But Davey doesn't necessarily have to drink the Kool-Aid to sell this. Just the tease of it could be enough to make it work. Plus, it's an actual angle for one of the mid-card divisions involving story and character, something that could make you care about the people involved, and seems to be about more than just the champions facing the winners of a tournament in what would most likely be a one-off tag team championship match with little or no story attached. Stuff like this is pretty rare on Impact these days, so on the basis of that alone I want to see this continue. Yes! I personally wish that Bram and Magnus were being used in the tag team division right now, but if you want to go with this new King of Hardcore angle, so be it. I'm not big on the hardcore stuff, and frankly I'm sick of the constant gimmicks, but I'm a fan of both these guys, so if it gets them a push, I'm on board. However, is this really the best you can do? Their promo was perfectly fine, but then Devon brings out the thing that ate Tommy Dreamer, and suddenly my enthusiasm starts to dwindle.
It's not the 90s anymore, and nobody wants to see you in spandex.
I'm trying not to be a dick about this, I really am. But if Bram wants to prove himself as the new king of hardcore, you've kind of put him on a downward trajectory now. I'm sorry, you can call him a hardcore legend all you want, but I fail to see what it does for Bram and Magnus to feud with and hopefully beat Tommy Dreamer. Who hasn't beaten Tommy Dreamer? God bless him, he's a classy, likable guy, but hardcore legend? Really? That's what you're going with? I find that hard to swallow, TNA. You don't think you're overselling that just a little bit? If you want to use Devon and Dreamer to put over Bram and Magnus, more power to you. But when you try to make this about them defending their supposed legend status when Tommy looks like he should have been the one to get the overeating storyline instead of Shark Boy, you kind of take some of the wind out of the sail.
And that's the fishing line, 'cause Shark Boy said so.
So, for some reason, instead of following up on Galen Havoc from last week, you know, that interesting Knockouts feud, instead of that, TNA thought it would be a better idea to completely ignore that so they could do something absolutely pointless with the beautiful people versus Taryn Terrell and Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne, who already turned heel on Taryn weeks ago. You knew how this was going to play out before the match even started. So why anyone was expected to be enthralled when Madison did what heels do and turned on Taryn, I couldn't tell you. TNA writers, if you want me to give one single shit about a beautiful people match, you need to put more thought into it than this. Why are we even wasting time on this in the first place? Where's Havoc? Having her sit out shows so you could do things like this is why she lost so much momentum after she won the title. And for what? So you could put over the Madison Rayne heel turn that nobody's gonna care about? Why? Her and the beautiful people are the last women you should be focusing on right now. And isn't it about damn time that you stop trying to make Madison Rayne happen anyway, TNA? How many years have you been wasting money on this chick now? She wasn't over as a heel, wasn't over as a face, and I got news for you, she's probably not going to be over as a heel this time either. So what is the point? Can we please get Taryn away from this crap and get back to focusing on the knockouts that are actually interesting and relevant? Good God.
Oh, my brother, testify!
Something I thought TNA did really well with this week was hyping up the Rude Lashley title match. Sure, the story of this was paper thin, and that really showed at times, but they did everything they could to conceal that. And the way they pushed it with these really strong video packages all night I thought was terrific. For a match with no real story other than the babyface just wanting a title match, I thought they did everything possible to make this seem like a must-see event. And the match itself was really good too. A little overbooked? Maybe. But this was a situation where I thought that worked in the match's favor. Recently, my main problem with the show is that there's been nothing really going on except straight-up wrestling. And here they tried to inject something else into this to give the match a few twists and turns. And compared to everything else that we've been getting lately, I found that kind of refreshing. When you do it constantly, that's when it gets annoying, but done once in a while, it can be just the thing you need. An exciting title match, no complaints. Rude wins the belt, cool, cool. Hopefully he can get his personality back now, and also turn heel in the not-too-distant future, God willing. I'm not sure where they go from here exactly, or how many compelling opponents they have lined up for him, but if there was one person to take the title off of Lashley, Rude was probably the guy. I'd say this Impact was better than recent episodes because it felt like something significant did happen here with the title change, and because we got an actual storyline in the tag team division. But it still feels like they're padding this show out way too much, and I still think they're focusing a little too heavily on the wrestling side and ignoring the other aspects. It's like they're trying to attract the ROH fan base instead of their own, which I don't really understand. But you took a step in the right direction here, TNA. Try to take another one next week. Later.